Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello everyone, it's Zainab. Welcome back to my daily reading of the Shia, the real followers of the Sunnah, by Muhammad Al-Tijani Al-Samawi. So yesterday and the day before, I read to you the first and the second incidents that led to the ummah diverging from the Sunnah of the Prophet. Of course, not all of the ummah dissented from the Sunnah, just kind of one group, which ironically, after that, began calling themselves Sunnis. Anyways, today I want to read to you the third incident that juxtaposed the Shias versus the Sunnis. Okay, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, all praise belongs to Him, and peace and blessings to Prophet Muhammad and his pure family. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This was the very serious stand taken by most of the Sahaba at Banu Sa'ida's shed, Saqifa, which clearly contradicted the Prophet's statements appointing Ali alayhi salam as the caliph, and which they all witnessed on the day of the Ghadir at al-Ghadir, following Hajjatul Wada, the final farewell pilgrimage. Despite the differences of views among the Mujahirs, which means the Meccan immigrants, and the Ansars, the Medinite helpers, with regard to the issues of caliphate, they all impudently raced with one another to forsake the Prophet's binding statements by advancing Abu Bakr to the caliphate, even if it cost them perdition, thus demonstrating their readiness to kill anyone who even remotely considered opposing them, and even if he were the closest person to the Prophet. The most glaring testimonial is Umar ibn al-Khattab's threat to burn the house of Fatima and everyone inside it. This incident is quite famous in history chronicles. Both in Sunni and Shia sources you can find it. This incident, the incident of Saqifa, also underscored the fact that the vast majority of the Sahaba assisted Abu Bakr and Umar in rejecting the Sunnah of their Prophet and replacing it with their own ijtihad, personal viewpoints, for they surely were in favor of ijtihad. Ijtihad kind of means like making their own law. It also distinguished from the rest of the community a Muslim minority that upheld the Prophet's statements and boycotted the allegiance to Abu Bakr, namely Ali and his Shias, supporters and followers. Yes, the distinct identity of each of these two groups or parties became apparent in the Muslim society immediately following the incidents stated before. One party attempted to respect and implement the Prophet's Sunnah, whereas the other attempted to defeat it, obliterate it, and replace it with ijtihad. Ijtihad? Is that how to pronounce it? Sorry. A concept which attracted the majority, tempting it to be hopeful of reaching the seat of government or at least participating in it. The first Sunni party was headed by Ali ibn Abu Talib and his Shias, whereas the other party, which advocated ijtihad, was headed by Abu Bakr and Umar and most of the Sahaba. The second party, led by Abu Bakr and Umar, took upon itself to crush the first one, and many measures were planned to wipe out the other opposition party, such as the following. 1. Isolation of the opposition and its economic paralyzation. The first attempt undertaken by the ruling party was to exclude its opponents from having a free access to the sources of livelihood and finance. Abu Bakr and Umar dismissed the farmers who had been hired by Fatima to cultivate the land of Fadek, considering it a Muslim commonwealth rather than the sole property of Fatima as her father had stated. They also deprived her of all the rest of her father's inheritance, claiming that the prophets left no inheritance. They terminated her share of the khums, which the Messenger of Allah ﷺ had assigned for himself and his family because they were prohibited from receiving charity. Thus did Ali become paralyzed economically. The land tract of Fadak, which used to yield excellent profits for him, was confiscated from him. He was deprived of his cousin's inheritance, which at the same time was also the legitimate right of his wife. Moreover, his share of khums was also cut off. Fadak's story is well known in history books, and so is Zahra's Fatima's dispute with Abu Bakr. She died angry with him. This is a famous incident recorded by both Bukhari and Muslim, which are both Sunni authors of hadith. Ali and his wife Fatima and children, alayhum salam, suddenly found themselves in need of those who could feed and clothe them, and this is exactly what Abu Bakr meant when he said to Fatima al-Zahra once, "Yes, you have the right to receive the khums, but I will fare with it just as the Messenger of Allah had fared, so that I do not let you be without food or without clothes." As we have already indicated, the companions who sided with Ali were mostly slaves who had no wealth, so the ruling party did not fear them or their influence, for people inclined to the rich and despise the poor. 2. Isolating the opposition and paralyzing it socially. In order to discard the opposition party headed by Ali ibn Abu Talib alayhi salam, the ruling party also isolated it socially. The first thing which Abu Bakr and Umar did was the removal of the psychological and emotional barrier which obligated all Muslims to respect and revere the relatives of the greatest messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Since Ali is the cousin of the Prophet and the master of the purified progeny, there were some among the Sahaba who hated him and envied him for the favors which Allah had bestowed upon him, not to mention the hypocrites who were waiting in ambush for him. Fatima was the only offspring of the Prophet who survived him. She was, as the Messenger of Allah said, the leader of all the ladies of the world. Therefore, all Muslims respected and revered her due to the status which she had earned with her father, and because of the traditions which he stated about her virtues, honor, and purity. But Abu Bakr and Umar deliberately tried to remove such respect and regard from the hearts of the public. Umar ibn al-Khattab once approached Fatima's house bearing a torch of fire and threatened to burn the house and everyone inside it if its residents refused to come out to swear the oath of allegiance to Abu Bakr. In his Al-Ihd al-Farid, Ibn Abd Rabbih says, as regarding Ali, Al-Abbas, and Al-Zubayr, those are two of Ali's closest companions, these stayed at Fatima's house till Abu Bakr sent them Umar to get them out of Fatima's house. He said to him, if they refuse, fight them. So he came bearing a torch of fire in order to burn the house on them. Fatima met him and asked him, O son of Al-Khattab, have you come to burn our house? Yes, said he, unless you accept that regarding which the ummah has agreed. If Fatima Zahra is the leader of the women of all the world, as indicated in the Sahih books of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and if her sons Al-Hassan and Al-Hussein alayhum salam are the masters of the youth of paradise, and the Prophet's fragrant flower in this nation are thus humiliated and demeaned to the extent that Umar swears in front of everyone to burn them and their house if they refuse to swear the oath of allegiance to Abu Bakr, can anyone expect others to retain any respect for Ali alayhi salam when most of them hated and envied him?